everyone, it is Milmo here, and it is time to switch sides, moving on from Dwight now onto Jesus. Now, as you can see, you need a couple of different ultra rares for this guy, and that is a Jesus and also an Ezekiel. If we move on to his card and look him over once again. Now, like I said with the stats, both Dwight and Jesus are fairly disappointing, but they do excel in different places. So Jesus actually excels in regards to his HP, which is 1171. That is a nice amount of HP. You think of some of the biggest HP players in this game is like Morgan, who's in the 1300 and things like that. So 1100 is a pretty good stat to be having. Now, he's fairly average in regards to defense. Both him and Dwight have on par, I think, in the defense category. And then when it comes to attack, of course, that's Dwight's department, with Jesus lacking a bit there in the 822. 822 is still a solid amount of attack, and you can't really be too disappointed with that. But Jesus definitely not up to par with Dwight's 905 attack. Now let's move on to his leader skill, which is all ranged teammates get plus 30% HP and plus 24 crit. Now, it's probably missing a major aspect that we all look for in our leader skill, which is AP. But in saying that, I've seen quite a few people use HP really effectively, you know, pack on HP weapons and things like that and just make their team. If you're going to beat it, it takes a long time just because of the amount of HP they have. So you can still use this leader skill pretty effectively and make your defense team pretty annoying. But in saying that, like I said, you're probably more searching for AP with your leader skills, and you probably wouldn't be going for him solely based on his leader skill. But also, if you go down to the second criteria to his leader skill, which is the plus 24 crit, you think of just recently I was doing zombie videos with tough teams. That's absolutely a brilliant leader skill to kick things off if you've not got a high crit leader. Plus 24 crit for a ranged team, so you're able to mix both your reds and also your toughs. So that's a good area if you need a crit leader. I guess it's a good place to start. I definitely don't think you'd be going for this guy solely for his leader skill. You probably shouldn't be going for a character solely for their leader skill unless they have an incredible leader skill, which you usually look for something like defense and AP rather than HP and crit. But he can come in handy with that leader skill in those two different ways I was just talking about. But definitely his value as a character lies in his Adrenaline Rush, which, as you see, is another 45 AP. So that's absolutely awesome. That's what you're looking for every time in this game, is a very fast AP. 45, 44 is always great, especially when it's a reviver. And as you can see, deals 350% damage to one enemy, which is a solid amount of damage. It's not necessarily going to kill the character, but it's going to definitely leave a mark, and it's going to impact that character hard. You know, 350% damage is nothing to laugh at. And then you move on to this character who gains up to 40% of their max HP. Yeah, that's pretty disappointing that he's only healing himself. But in saying that, the fact that he's a reviver and he's healing himself is good in that aspect. Just keeping himself topped up. You know, the more HP he can restore, the more possibility you're going to have to do multiple revives and things like that. And then you move on to revive one teammate with 40% of his max HP, which is why this character is so valuable and so sought after in this game, is because revives at 45 AP are really hard to come by. Now, one of the main reasons for getting this character is actually that Adrenaline Rush and that revive feature, as I was just saying. Now, I don't want people to be mistaken that they just recently got this Amy Days Gone By epic from War, that they shouldn't get this Jesus. She is absolute rubbish. I'm not going to sugarcoat at all. She is absolute rubbish. 66 AP, she's dead before anything's even happening. So instead of spending your time trying to get her up to scratch in regards to making her a useful character at all, or a decent character that's going to actually revive someone, then you very well may want to look at this Jesus. Just if your sole reviver is Amy, and even your sole ranged reviver is Amy, then you may want to reconsider, I guess, your choice if you're leaning more towards Dwight, and maybe look back at Jesus, because I don't think you can actually say your reviver stat or your reviver need has been satisfied with that Amy at all. Like I said, you'd have to do too much work with her to get her up to standard, where with this Jesus you're also getting an extra 10% HP heal, so an extra 10% revive heal there. And he's easy to work with, being that he's got the 45 AP, he's much easier to work with. And you know, he doesn't have this weird lifesteal thing, which I don't like lifesteal as a specialty stat anyway. So she just doesn't really fancy anything in my books, and I don't like her at all. So we move on from the Amy Basham, which is pretty much what it is. I really don't like her as a character at all. Like I was saying, this guy is pretty much you find all the value in him in that revive, and that's where I'm looking at him in that revive. Revives are one of those things in this game that are very much game changing, like a shield. If you don't have one, everyone wants one, and to find one at 45 AP is pretty much like a unicorn, and to be able to get one so easily in this game is a very rarity. And I think it's very hard to pass up this guy because of that. Like I said, revive is very much a big game changer, both attacking and also defensive wise, and it can put people in quite a pickle when they come up against it. So you just have to consider what area you need the most. And like I said, if you need to fill that void of a reviver, then this guy is going to do. If you're looking at the survival road Jesus, this one is 10 times better than the survival road one, so definitely turn your eyes towards him. If that survival road one is tickling your fancy, this one should be the one you're heading towards, and probably should be the side you're choosing in the end, if that's the way you want to go with the reviver and needing that reviver. So you've got a few different things you have to consider. Like I said, Jesus has his own values, and then Dwight has his own values, and you just got to try and make the most informed decision as you can possible. So if you've got to write up a pros and cons list, then I recommend doing that if that's going to help you make your choice, because at the end of the day, you don't want to choose one path and then I guess essentially want to turn back and can't turn back, and then end up with a character that, yeah, you may use, but it's not the decision you wanted in the end, or it's not the character that would have been most helpful in the end. So definitely pros and cons list is the probably smartest way to go and weigh up which one is going to be better for you. I guess you could almost ask yourself the question when it comes to the two characters. With Jesus, do you need a reviver? Do you need a crit leader for all your ranged? Or when it comes to Dwight, do you need that shield breaker, or do you need that leader skill with the all melee and the AP leader skill? So there's a few sort of questions you got to ask yourself. It's not which one I guess you want, but ultimately which one you need, because opportunities like this ain't going to come around too long, and it should be the need that defines your decision rather than the want. But anyways, I hope you did enjoy that, and I hope it helped out. As always, please leave comments below if you have anything more to add, and I am out of here, and thanks for watching. Bye.